If you can understand this video, you might realize why some say time doesn't exist at all. That time is just an illusion. Of course, it's fine if you don't understand. You'll get it after listening to this episode's story. To summarize briefly, around 2014, a very popular post appeared on a Japanese online forum. The original poster claimed that after an accident, they experienced a time bug once. Going through a loop, they found that after waking from a coma, not only had the time changed, but even the surrounding things seemed rebuilt. This post sparked heated discussion. Some mentioned parallel worlds, some said it was time travel, but the most accepted explanation came from an anonymous user, based on the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics. They said time doesn't exist at all. From a quantum perspective, the essence of the world is just a probability wave. The OPS experience was actually like a very long DJVU. It's just that after the consciousness restarted, the quantum state collapsed into a different reality. So, following this logic, for example, the phone you're holding now exists because you observed it. Without an observer, it might just be a cloud of probability. Assuming a situation like the OPS, where consciousness disappeared and restarted, the phone might reappear. But it could have subtle differences from before. After understanding the concept that time doesn't exist, my attitude towards phones is affordable price. Second-hand is fine. So I bought this iPhone 13 on Chuan. It was only 1,800 cheaper than a new one. Phones on Chuan's official inspection undergo multiple checks, making them more reliable than ordinary second-hand goods. And Chuan doesn't just a phone. The 2021 iPad 9 costs just over 1,100. In short, for second-hand, I choose Chuan's inspected items. This episode
ECG có đất
recorded
with
my
me
newly
newly
bought
bắt iPhone
iPhone
13.
The strange event experienced by the OP, let's call her happened in 2014. She was 37 at the time, an ordinary housewife. As a full-time homemaker, besides daily chores, S also took care of two children, a 5-year-old son and a 6-month-old daughter. Although busy every day, she felt very happy. Every morning, the whole family had breakfast together. Then they would see the husband off at the Genkan entryway, energetically saying, "Be careful on your way." Life went on peacefully like this, until August 2nd of that year, just before the Open Festival. That morning, S, as usual, pushed her daughter in the stroller and walked her son to kindergarten. On the way, the son happily said, "M-O-M-M-O-M." During Open, "Can we go to Grandpa and Grandma's house with my sister? I'm so looking forward to it." This reminded SN. On the way to their kindergarten, across the street, there was an Ansansian shrine. When she was pregnant with her daughter, there was a risk of miscarriage, so she often went there to pray for the child's safety. Now her daughter had been safely born for so long, and since it was still early, she decided to go pray at the shrine again. Moreover, Es really liked this shrine. In the bustling city, the shrine was like an oasis of peace. Many large trees were planted around it. Every time she entered, she felt her heart calm down. But that day, as soon as she crossed the street, the cicadas on the trees near the shrine chirped incessantly. The sound was very irritating. Her son was always afraid of insects. He shouted, "It's so noisy," and turned to run away. S was pushing the stroller and had to care for her daughter inside. So she said to her son, "Big brother, how can a boy be so timid?" Then she held her son's hand and continued forward. When they reached the shrine gate, S let her guard down. Her son suddenly shouted, "Too noisy," and let go of S's hand, turning and dashing towards the road. S was startled by her son's action and quickly chased after him with the stroller. As S started running, her daughter in the stroller laughed happily. The anxiety of that moment, the cicada sounds, and the baby's laughter are still deeply etched in S's memory. She shouted loudly to her son, "Stop! Stop!" while also rushing to the roadside. But she quickly realized that pushing the stroller, she couldn't catch up to her son. So she parked the stroller by a flower bed. and immediately ran to chase her son. But just as she turned and rushed onto the road, a motorcycle happened to brake hard towards her. In that moment, Es couldn't react in time. Unable to dodge, she only saw her son not far away, his face full of terror as he looked her way. Then she was hit by the motorcycle and fell heavily to the ground. Before losing consciousness, Es thought, thankfully, my son is okay, and my daughter's stroller is safely parked. Then she fell unconscious. Suddenly, Es woke up again. She was woken by her mother. She wasn't sure if waking up was the right word, because it felt like a dream. Es found herself no longer at the shrine, but back in her childhood home. Her mother, who had passed away, was looking at her with concern. Seeing Es open her eyes, her mother softly asked, Es, are you okay? Can you go to school? Hearing school, Es's mind was filled with thoughts of her two children. She couldn't focus on anything else. But at that moment, she felt her thinking had reverted to that of a child. Faced with this incomprehensible situation, she couldn't sort out her thoughts. Like an adult, she just cried and called out her children's and husband's names. Seeing Es like this, her mother was at a loss. Then her brother entered the living room and yelled irritably, "Stop crying. Just go die." Es was startled by her brother's voice. Her attention shifted slightly, and she saw her drunken father lying on the floor. The room reeked of alcohol. A wave of disgust rose in Essie's heart. She cried even harder. This environment only brought fear to Essie, because in her memory, her birth parents were both alcoholics. Her brother deeply disliked her. Es felt helpless. She didn't understand what was happening. Was she in a dream now? Or was that memory of the future the real dream? That whole day, Es cried incessantly, constantly muttering, "I want to go home." Her mother said helplessly, "This is your home. Es, what's wrong with you?" For the next few days, due to the great shock, Es took leave and didn't go to school. During this time, she learned she had actually become an elementary school student again. Es told her family about her experience, and even told them her husband's and children's names, but her family didn't believe her. Her mother thought she was talking about names from a game of house with her friends. So, during her days off, Es tried various methods to return home by herself. She wandered outside, thinking maybe falling would send her back. She also tried jumping into water, but only ended up covered in mud and injured. Seeing Es dirty all over, her mother was shocked. That night, Es overheard her parents whispering, wondering if their daughter had a mental problem and if they should take her to a temple. Es thought, I can't keep being seen as a weirdo. So she decided to go to school first, while searching for a way home. In Es's memory, her parents were both alcoholics. Her father often came home dead drunk, sometimes vomiting everywhere, filling the room with the stench of alcohol. Her mother didn't drink daily like her father, but when she did, she would go crazy, even hitting people. As a child, seeing them drunk only brought fear to Essen. She often hid in the closet. Now, experiencing it all again, Es felt not only fear, but also great helplessness. Because of this, she missed her husband and children even more, because only where they were was her heart's happiest home. But Es, having become an elementary student again, not only had a child's body, but also seemed to have a child's brain. That memory, possibly of the future, was blurry in her mind. Many things were only vague impressions. They only became clear when the events happened, just like the feeling of deja vu. So, with a child's mindset, Es couldn't make sense of these things. She could only slowly sort through them, living first according to her remembered life. However, soon, Es discovered that this world seemed different from her memory. In her memory, her family situation was very bad. Her father drank heavily and dragged her mother into it. Her mother, when drunk, would scold her and sometimes hit her. But now, her mother didn't drink at all and never scolded or hit her. There were many other things. For example, when visiting others' homes, her mother taught her not to open others' refrigerators without permission, to return friends' toys properly after playing, and to say thank you. In the evening, her mother would prepare the clothes for the next day. Every day after school, the house was tidy and clean. These things were completely impossible in her previous memory. And besides her mother being different, many other things had changed too. In S's memory, she had several close friends, but now they had become delinquents, very mischievous. If she followed her memory and remained friends with them, she might be negatively influenced. So from then on, S could only strive to maintain living according to her original remembered path. However, there were things she wanted to change. For example, preventing her mother's death during high school. Unfortunately, she didn't succeed. Her mother still passed away. Since some things were destined to remain unchanged, S continued to follow her previous timeline. She didn't have a boyfriend all through university, focused only on meeting her husband. After graduating from university, S's longing for her husband had reached an indescribable, intensely strong level. According to her memory, S and her husband met in the workplace. So when choosing a job, she didn't hesitate at all. As before, she chose to become a software engineer. In her memory, her first meeting with her husband was when she went to install business software for him. So, when her supervisor finally assigned the job came down, S was extremely excited. That day, she went to her husband's company. As she approached his workstation, S nervously called out, "Mr. Sato." The person sitting there turned around. He looked exactly like her husband from her memory, but he was not her husband. This person was not named Sato, and his personality and experiences were completely different from her remembered husband. Only then did S realize that this world might not be her original world at all. Before, her mother had changed. Her friends had changed. She felt she could accept all that. But now, even her husband had changed. This was a huge blow to SN. After waiting all these years, trying her best to maintain her original life path, solely wanting to see her husband, but finally meeting him, only to find it wasn't him. This made S feel utterly hopeless. She completely lost her motivation. Working at this company lost its meaning. She even considered resigning. She spent about a year in a daze like this. Later, the company received another project, assigning S to handle computer maintenance and application management. During a communication meeting with the client company, familiar, this person was named Inada. Although his name, appearance, accent, and job were all different from her remembered husband, S recognized him at a glance. He was her husband. His way of speaking, demeanor, personality, etc. were exactly the same as her remembered husband. S was so moved she almost cried. From then on, they dated like ordinary people, lived together, and eventually married. At the wedding, S's heart was filled with a sense of relief. After marriage, just like before, S soon had children. However, the eldest son became a daughter, and the younger daughter became a son. Although the genders were different, S knew these were her previous children. She was truly overjoyed. Every day, she would gently touch the children's faces and pray silently in her heart, "If this is a dream, I hope I never wake up." Finally, it was August 2nd, 2014 again. That day was just like in her memory. The whole family had breakfast together in the morning. Then S took the children to see her husband off at the Genkan. She energetically told him, "Be careful on your way." Then S tied it up a bit. pushed her son in the stroller, and walked her daughter to kindergarten. On the way, her daughter said happily, "MOM, MOM," during Obon. "Can my brother and I go to Grandpa and Grandma's house? I'm so looking forward to it." This sentence reminded us again. But this time, she did not go to the shrine. Instead, she immediately held her daughter's hand and pushed her son back home. Es called the kindergarten to ask for leave. They did not go out the entire day. She didn't know if going to the shrine again would mean a motorcycle rushing towards her. She also didn't know if she could return to the world from her memory. In short, she never wanted to be separated from her family again. The op said at the end of the post that she had thought about this matter repeatedly. She wondered if in a previous life she had an accident at age 37 and unfortunately then was reborn into this parallel world. The comments under the post were filled with various discussions. Some said she had traveled to a parallel world, but others questioned why had the time changed as well. Some suggested it was time travel, but others rebutted. Why had the people around her changed too? In short, various conjectures seemed unable to clearly explain everything, until an anonymous netizen appeared. He said, "Everyone has experienced deja vu, right? The op's experience is like an extremely long episode of deja vu. This might be related to quantum superposition states. Simply put, according to the Copenhagen interpretation, microscopic particles, when not observed by a conscious entity, are just a cloud of probability. Only when consciousness intervenes and observes does it collapse into reality, and the result of each collapse is not necessarily the same. So, in this matter, the op neither traveled through time nor traveled through parallel space. Because the essence of time does not exist, parallel universes also do not exist. They only become determined after consciousness intervenes. What the op experienced was simply a restart of consciousness, so time and space also restarted. But after the restart, it became different from before. Once this anonymous comment appeared, many people expressed agreement. Of course, some did not agree, as this was just an unproven scientific hypothesis. When I first saw this comment, I didn't understand it either, but combined with this video, I suddenly understood why some say time doesn't exist. The essence of time is to measure the change of things, and the change of the universe, ultimately, depends on the motion of all microscopic particles. Then, according to the observer effect in quantum mechanics, microscopic particles, when unobserved, are in an uncertain superposition state. They do not collapse into the reality we perceive daily. Precisely because of this, some say, "I think, therefore I am." That's also why some say, if their own consciousness perishes, then the entire world ceases to exist. Alright, that's the full text of the post. So tonight's instant story ends here. See you next time. I'm Keeming. Good night.